Hi everybody, my name is Jeremy. This is Red Means Recording, and this here is the Roland Aerophone Pro, the AE30. I have had this for a couple months now, and in November, while everyone was doing November, I decided to sit down and finally give this a fair shake.
No. Good paw. Thank you. No. Good paw. Thank you.
Spend 30 days practicing it and see how it went, how I liked it. This is a loaner from a friend at Roland, and I have to get it back to him. So I filmed every single time I practiced. And I thought that maybe I could make a video about the value of practicing and the Aerophone and what it feels like coming to an instrument that I'm supposed to be good at that it turns out I'm not very good at. Like, what does it feel like to be bad at something? And how much practice is enough practice to get decent at something? So that's what this video is about. I'm going to talk to you about the Aerophone here and sort of tell you like how it works, how it sounds. I'll tell you some tips and tricks about fingering that I learned while getting to know it. And then we'll also switch over to the footage of my practice sessions, and I'll show you just how bad I was when I started and how I got better through the 30 days that I practiced. And that's the video. If you'd like to come with me on a magical Aerophone journey, let's do it. So my first tip about practice is get yourself set up maybe the day before. As you'll see here, I thought I was ready to sit down and do my 30-minute practice, but I was not. I had so much stuff I had to grab to get ready. And this was before I even realized that I needed a stand with the fingering chart on it. Now, sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and that's fine. But I think that given people have so little extra time when it comes to, doing things for themselves outside of chores and work, that it's worth it to, the night before you want to start practicing a new instrument or whatever, have your stuff ready to go. And then you'll just be able to sit down, no friction, and start learning that instrument. That's my first tip. And here we go. All right, so as you might be able to tell, this is an electronic wind instrument. It has a, synthetic reed and a mouthpiece. Underneath here is this like little sensor thing. At one point I could blow into it and it would actually make the thing go. You can hear that it responds to different tonguings. It has a number of different fingerings that you can use. I eventually decided on the recorder fingering. I'm a flute player by history. I spent a long time playing the flute. And the whole reason that I reached out to Roland about getting a hold of one of these to see if I liked it was because I thought that it would be interesting having an expressive instrument that maybe I was good at already that I could just pick up. And the fact of the matter is, the flute fingering that you can choose for this did not correspond with what I remember flute fingering being like. And the flute fingering is burned into my brain. Like if you gave me a flute right now, my embouchure would suck, but the fingering itself is all just like burned into my brain. And I'm sure that anyone here watching that has played a wind instrument in their life, or an instrument that involves fingering, has that experience as well. You will remember that kind of thing. It's like riding a windy bike. So when I got it and I started trying to play the flute, it didn't work. It didn't work at all. So I went through like the sax fingering, I went through the electronic wind instrument fingering, and eventually I landed upon the recorder fingering, and it was just baby enough for me to actually understand it. The first 2 or 3 days was me literally trying to be able to play a chromatic scale. I could not. And I realized that this was going to be my first hurdle that I wanted to overcome because it's such a simple thing theoretically. But because I was so unfamiliar with the fingerings, I had to stare at that fingering chart and just go as slow and methodically as I possibly could. And man, it was frustrating for sure. Something to note about the fingering that took me a really long time to understand is When I started out, I had the fingering charts in front of me. There's fingering charts in the manual, and I had to stare at them. I had to, because that was so unnatural for me to be able to know what notes I was supposed to hit, especially because the first thing I decided to do was just, can I play chromatically? Can I play a chromatic scale? And I couldn't. So here's the deal. There are some modifiers that I don't think they're listed in the manual for fingering chromatically. I think the official fingering for C sharp is adding this little friend right here. So this little key over here on the left is a sharp modifier. It will make anything sharp. So you can use that when going up to get an accidental that maybe you wouldn't be able to get before. Over here on the right, this key is a flat modifier. As I was just experimenting a little bit in between doing scales, I would find little passages that I remembered from other songs, and I would just sort of like, see if I could learn them. So a note about scales. Scales are really, really important to learn. I believe that everyone should practice doing scales no matter what part of their musical journey that they're in. They're a great way to understand how different note combinations work, and they're a really, really just intrinsic part of music. This is day 3. I finally was able to kind of like get myself a little bit around the chromatic scale, and that gave me enough confidence to start thinking about playing other music. Like here, at the end of day 3, I took some time to improvise. That's the other thing I really, really recommend that you try doing, is just try improvising with the information that you have and see how the music can flow from you. So those little modifiers help get around really, really nicely. There's one more that's not listed for the recorder fingering, and that is a whole step down. And I think it's this one right here. So just knowing that really, really helped me being able to navigate along quite quicker. The other thing about the Aerophone is the back stuff here. Here we have a little where you're supposed to like put this thumb, and then you have octave up, octave down, octave 2 up, 2 octaves down. That took some getting used to, because in a regular flute playing environment, I would just use my embouchure and wind pressure to go up an octave. So it becomes an interesting exercise to get used to using octave buttons to move around. Like once you understand it, it's actually pretty like natural to do. I really, really enjoy it. You put your thumb on this little thing right here, and there's like a little rocker. Which is great if you want to make terrible sounds. Here is a transposition thing. So a lot of the times I would play along with another song. I would just transpose the whole instrument to that, and I could play in the key of C, or finger. I could finger C, but I could play the key corresponding to the thing. So auto transposition, very nice. Cheating, yes, but I don't have time to learn every single key in order to just have some fun with this thing. There's this pad right here, and this pad, when engaged, normally will add a sort of a timbre shift to the whole thing. I actually turned it off because I found that it's like the MPE of controls. I never really like had a lot of like agency over it while I was trying to just like play. So I just turned it off, and I haven't turned it back on yet. This thing does do okay vibrato. So here. But there are some settings that just have vibrato built in, like this one. There's a lot of different sounds. You've heard some saxophones. ton of wind sounds. You even got trumpets. Which actually sounds pretty good. That's one of the things I really like about this is that once you learn how to use the device, you get access to a lot of sounds that you would normally never play. And I think they sound pretty good for what they are. I guess if you had this on like a looper, you could probably go like pretty hard. When I found this preset, I was so excited. This is a very classic Roland preset. I've had this on so many different Roland synths throughout the years, and it never gets old. That's the Jazz Scat preset, baby. It is a classic. Why is there timpani on here? Can't flutter tongue and have it roll. That's too bad. Hot tip, Christmas carols are where it's at if you want to play something that's familiar and easy and feel a sense of accomplishment. This is me, I think, on day 8, finally saying I want to learn some pieces. And I found Christmas carols, and they were absolutely fantastic. A couple days later, I decided I was going to start improvising in real time, because that's the whole point of this exercise. I need to be able to play along with music. So I started improvising along with Bad Snacks' music on the YouTube audio library, and it gave me so much confidence to be able to kind of move around with the knowledge that I had earned. Later, I decided I wanted to learn some more rigorous pieces. So shout out to this website called 8notes.com. You can actually find all kinds of sheet music based on level of difficulty. And you can also have it play along an accompaniment with you. You get only a few with a free account per day, but incognito mode does work to get a few extra. Yeah. That's all that I really have to tell you about the device itself. You know, it does have this MIDI in and MIDI out that you can use, and has Bluetooth. I don't really know what it's for. I think it connects with an app of some kind. It's really, really neat. If you are considering getting a synthesizer instrument that you play with your mouth, I don't see any reason why not to get this one, except for the fact that it's expensive. I have had a blast learning this thing, and it has really brought back the joy of playing. I'm still not great at it, and I haven't picked it up since December started, and I feel bad about that now, there's something very meditative about playing, like just realizing that all you have to do is get better. The only reason that you're sitting here and playing this scale or this exercise is because it's helping you get better. And once I put myself in that mindset, it really became easy to sit down and practice. It became sort of a respite from the world where I was like, okay, I'm not going to be great at this, but I am, in the course of like this 30-minute time that I'm practicing, I'm going to get better by the end of it. And I didn't do it every day, and I didn't want to do it every day. Sometimes I couldn't, sometimes I just didn't have the energy, but I tried to make myself do it every day. And it really became sort of a high point in my day of peace. Like it was peaceful to sit down and spend 30 minutes with this thing. I know that not everybody has time for that, you know? I know everybody has a schedule as open as mine. And it's very, very difficult to find time in the world with all the responsibilities that we have. I do want people to know that it's worth it. It's worth taking time to practice. It's worth taking time to dedicate yourself to something because it's fun for you, because it enriches you. And from my perspective, there's not really many things that enrich an individual as learning an instrument and being able to express themselves with an instrument of some kind. That's my take on it anyways. It doesn't have to be this, but it could be. I will be returning this to Roland. I might talk to them about picking one up because one thing is it's been really, really great to play along with other music that I've been making. So like if I want an expressive lead to go with something I did on modular, I'll just pick this up and I will play along. And that's been really, really fun. It's like such an immediate, thing. I'm assuming this is what guitar players feel like, that are good at their craft. I hope this has been fun for you. It's a kind of a weird little video. I hope that your December is going well. Next year is going to be pretty different on this channel, I think. Look for a video closer to the end of the year that will explain some things. With that, I bid you adieu. I will play us out, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves.